Every day, and in all parts of the world, children are being put at risk due to war, trafficking, and poverty. For the last 25 years, Hope for the Nations, a small nonprofit started in a small Canadian town by a few friends, has been focused on helping children at risk all over the world by providing for their basic needs through safe homes, education, and community projects such as business loans, farming, nutrition, and clean water initiatives. From humble beginnings in Nepal and Mexico, Hope for the Nations is now working together with over 40 local grassroots organizations in over 20 countries. Our focus has always been the safety and well-being of children. By addressing the environment and care of a community's children, our projects begin to transform entire communities. We seek to empower children at risk to become children of change.
I think when Hope first started out, you had basically like 4 couples who had the same heart for helping children at risk. They maybe had interests in their own specific areas of the world, whether it was Nepal or Romania or Mexico, and they got to start with the people on the ground there to say, we can come in and we can help.
Welcome to Sikanam Slum.
Yes.
And here we are with a leper community.
Yeah.
And they are we know that having no house or no home is a very difficult thing. I'm in Mtwapa, down near Mombasa. And so around the world, we found ourselves wherever we went and into areas of desperation where there was war, where there was economic disparity. We started to build homes. 1994, our very first children's home was in Kathmandu, Nepal. My wife and I and Nick Arkle flew into Kathmandu, and it was there where we opened our very first children's home.
Let the children come!
Within months of this, the Brinkerhoffs became very engaged in the homes in Mexico.
In January '92, Dennis and Diane Enra took a team to Colima and took a sizable donation with them. We were able to see firsthand how those funds were spent. We were pleased to see a fully functioning home for 12 children, some of whom had never been in a normal family situation.
Was this piece of property, which was a big and beautiful building that just needed some renovations, and it housed the first units of the orphanage, Casa Matrice. And it was about that time that we learned that ideally you want children in homes, not in orphanages, but at that time it was a start.
Kids, and since then grown to where we are now in this location with 40 children.
That they were really taking kids in that had a great need. Many of them were coming in at that time from the prison, others just from really horrible circumstances. There was one little boy that had been left in the garbage to die.
And saying, what can we do? And we said, well, what are we doing and what can be done? And so some of us were involved in different places around the world. And so to be able to pool resources and be able to have a central hub like Hope for the Nations as a nonprofit, a charity, which you could pull in all your friends and acquaintances and others to be able to get behind and encourage them to also get involved.
So for me, growing up in the same community as Ralph, John and Joyce, and a lot of these couples, it was really inspiring to me just being a kid and seeing the impact that they were making in so many different countries, so much so that when I was a teenager, I asked Ralph if I could accompany him on one of his trips, and he brought me along to Swaziland in the year after I graduated.
My journey first started about 21 years ago when I got an invitation from Ralph to join him on a trip to Nepal.
We went to work in Uganda. And Mr. Ralph Bromley was actually the one that introduced us.
So in 2003, I was invited to go to Liberia, and I went. We didn't come in with the vision to start children's homes. We actually came in just looking for ways that we could come alongside the people. So we actually found people that were taking care of orphan children on their own, and the children weren't in school, but they were feeding them and taking good care of them. And we heard their heart and their dream, and it was to help.
They don't have anywhere to go, no home, nobody to care for them. So we had to organize homes, Christian homes, to place these children in the homes. And Hope for the Nations will do the education, the food, and everything that that child needs to meet our goal, to become a future leader. Because
we were meeting people on the ground who became our partners, and it was a time of adventure.
We've had been able to build lots of real different relationships with people, and being able to be partners. It's not coming from, us to them, but it's really us all together.
Making sure you do the relationship part of it. Making sure that those people on the ground who are working for you and with you feel like they can rely on you, that they can come to you with problems, that they can, get your support.
Organizations on the ground that are familiar with the culture, they're familiar with the needs, and we're working together with our partners to be sure that they're the ones that are identifying the needs. They're the ones identifying what it is that they can really buy into and own and work together to a goal. And within that, we support them.
Seeds grow. And the second phase that we started to move into was that of education, because as the children grow, we soon found ourselves in need of developing schools. We built schools, we sent our children to schools, we found various ways of training people informally.
4 years of age, I lost my mom in 1995. And that was a shocking event that I couldn't get over, but I was a child. But however, in 1997, I came across Hope for the Nations, and Hope for the Nations was able to provide a sponsorship for me from 1997 up to 2010, which I graduated from Hope Academy, a high school built by Hope for the Nations.
My name is Nana Devi Zawiye of the Hope Academy High School, the senior class, and I'm 24 years of age. My favorite subject is English.
The present campus was built by the Canadian people, friends and friends from Vancouver. They helped us build this beautiful campus. And then at present we have about 348 students.
It was exciting to see Hope for the Nations be able to grow and be able to reach more people and get more people involved as well. Another thing that Hope for the Nations has been really instrumental in is the Christian school that has been raised up out of the church group Wilmore. Fundraising through Hope for the Nations for that building, and just the support, the educational support that happens, just showing that that's something that's valuable for Hope for the Nations as well.
So schools was very important. And then in the second phase, we also developed villages. We had villages in Swaziland, the war in Gulu in northern Uganda, where Joseph Kony wreaked his havoc up there. We built a village. Malawi, we built a village.
And I'm happy to see that it's ongoing. And we have other projects now that we've come into that help as far as education and help as far as empowering women and gender equality. And
then a few years later, I picked up a camera, and my first couple years of filmmaking and photography, I went on trips and I made videos for Hope for the Nations. And I got to see so many cool projects in different corners of the globe, from Liberia to a bunch of different places in Southeast Asia, and more recently in Kenya and in Uganda. And it's just been amazing to see the different kinds of projects that they have.
And while we're there, we come across other needs. And one thing led to another, and now we've got a facility with electricity. And so we treat about at least 50 people a day. We also do outreaches into the remote areas where we'll treat up to 200 people a day when teams come in.
Everywhere you go, you meet amazing people on the ground, locals, who care so much about their community, who care so much about the children, and who are so encouraged by the support and the encouragement that they get from Hope for the Nations.
Some places we're working with children just in their education. Some it's community development. Some we're providing them a safe home. Other areas we're monitoring border crossing stations, watching for red flags for kids that might be getting trafficked. Seek to provide a more holistic approach for the whole community.
When it comes to us going places to do things, look in your own backyard. There was a need here in Kelowna that needed to be taken care of, and the organization that had started it was no longer able to do it, and that's our Food for Thought program.
There are a lot of children in the central Okanagan who are facing food insecurity, so they'll wake up in the morning and they're not sure where their next meal will come from or if they'll even have a meal. So basically, Food for Thought's breakfast program provides them free and nutritious breakfast. It's a safe environment, it's very low barrier.
And so different places, we knew that we wanted components of homes, schools, and then that took us into the third phase, which is enterprise, and that's where we find ourselves today. Because in so many of these places, that if the children, the youth becoming adults can't get work, if they don't understand the marketplace, if they don't get some kinds of education, some hands-on experience, their world is going to be very, very difficult.
And right now I'm in Kampala, Uganda with my friend Trinity, who is a young entrepreneur. He has his own business, he has his own charity, he comes from the slums, and he's trying to help other kids come out of the slums and get opportunities both in school and in starting their own businesses, especially in the tech scene.
One of the beneficiaries of our last program in 2018. She's one of the people who attended our workshop, and she felt like, you know what, I need to start something. I need to start something to help people in Katanga.
Seen so many people become sustainable through microenterprise and giving out interest-free loans to those who are eligible.
I think what we're hoping to do is continue to work towards self-sustaining projects. We can always be there to help advocate and to help donate in whatever capacity and help support them. But wouldn't it be great if all of these projects in all of these countries started to become more self-sustaining? That you actually started to see the change in the communities that didn't rely on Western funding, different views, that could come together and say, this is what we need, and how do we go about getting it?
But I believe that we're in a time of harvest. We're in a time of moving forward where so many of our children, after 25 years, have gone on to university, higher education.
I love when someone doesn't know how to dream, but after a while, after they walk with you and they're nourished and they're loved, these children can begin to dream.
Namaste, I am Mandira. I want to be a dancer, thank you. My name is Ravita Vasnet. I want to be a nurse, thank you. I want to be a teacher.
Watching them accomplish their dreams is amazing.
Numbers have graduated. They're teachers and business people and activists and
seeing entrepreneurs and scholars, even as has been said, to see them grow and see hope expand.
Let's take Rose, who has just finished her nursing degree, and now she's ready for a job in Liberia. Or take Jala Tutu, who came out of the refugee camp in Budaburam, and he got his grade 12 education by listening on the step of a school when he asked the teacher if he could write the grade 12 exams, and he aced them.
So, as you know, Hope for the Nations has child sponsorship, and so we sponsor a number of children, and all of our grandkids sponsor kids, our kids sponsor kids, and one of the girls that we've sponsored from the very beginning is Sharon. And so she's grown up, I think, from about 5 or 6 years old, and she's now in her early 20s and is in Brazil on scholarship in a nursing program.
We, in short, put him through the University of Johannesburg in South Africa, And today, Philip is a very successful business person, working with aid groups in Liberia. He's working with Hope for the Nations, but he cares about the village from where he came. And he's back doing community work there. And it's a marvelous story of how just people who believed in Philip, supported him, donors like yourselves, have changed the life of this individual who in turn is impacting the lives of so many in Liberia today.
So right now I'm in the slum of Katanga in Kampala, Uganda. One story I have about the project that I've been doing in Uganda is the lady that we're working with, she told me that often she feels like she should just give up. She feels like she should just walk away from what she's doing, that it's too much, it's too many kids that she's taking care of. And she said, like, without your support, I don't know if I would continue each day. And I bet you that would be a similar story in lots of places where Hope is involved. That there are great people on the ground doing great work, but they need encouragement and support because it's really easy to just want to give up.
So what's encouraging me is we're seeing more and more young people getting involved with Hope for the Nations. As you know, Hope was started 25 years ago with Ralph Bromley and a number of his friends who all collectively had a passion to help children at risk. So fast forward 25 years, we're happy to see more young people coming on board to help carry that vision through for the next 25 years.
See the kids rising up, and even our own children and grandchildren being involved and taking Hope to the next level. And
we're responsible to help, I think. We have so much. So it's just been a privilege to be part of this organization because we've seen change and we've seen lives changed. And when I'm on my deathbed, I'm gonna think, at least I changed Samuel's life a little bit.
We have projects all over. So you bring the passion and we have the project, and together we can make a difference.
And so we want you to come along with us for the future. We want your ideas, working with us. And we just say, stay in there for the dance. 25 years, we're just ramping up. And our trajectory is forever upward. We're excited about the 20,000 plus children that we've influenced. We're excited about all the partners we've worked with who've worked so hard, who've hung in there.
Yeah, I think for our long-term supporters, we can't thank them enough, because without them, we would not be looking ahead to the next 25 years. We'd be standing still or we'd be moving backwards. And I think Hope has a great opportunity now to continue to move forwards, to continue to have impact, to do more than we ever have done before. So we just want to thank you for your ongoing support, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. We love you, and God bless you.